Hey guys, this is the MMA Diagnosis podcast. I'm your host, Hammad. Today I have with me a professional mixed martial artist training out of AVT and Sweatbox studio, Furqan Cheema. How are you, my bro?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Been a while?
It has been. It's been. How long was it when the last one? Was it like over a year ago or something? Maybe
More
two?
than that.
Yeah,
a year ago.
Yeah.
About a year ago, yeah.
But it feels like I've seen you first time in person, so...
Yeah, it's first time we've actually met in person. I was
It's
telling
good.
you that's crazy.
Yeah.
What do you... Like... I'll be honest with you, I thought you were retired.
Oh,
Cause
no.
For people that don't know, he's become a firefighter now. He's the Browns DP Miotis.
Yeah. No, definitely not retired. I think I just had a bit of a break from my last fight. And then from there, I decided to obviously go through my firefighter training. So I had quite an intense 4 months there. So I decided to just completely move away from MMA and just focus on that. And now I've finished the training. I was successful on that. And I've actually been stationed. So now I can actually focus on the fighting as well. So I'm back in now. And good news, I've signed with Cage Warriors. So it's a good start.
We're going to get into that. So you were originally at One Championship.
Yeah.
So what made you move to Cage Warriors?
I think it was just more opportunities. I think with One Championship, it just come to a point where it quite stalemate, and there just wasn't anything there any further. So yeah, we got a contract with Cage Warriors, and like I said, with Cage Warriors, I got a 5-fight contract in 1 year and 6 months, and I feel as if a bit more certainty with Cage Warriors just because of the actual contract. So I know, like, obviously I'm guaranteed to hopefully have 5 fights, and it's a bit more of a vision for me now. You know, instead of not knowing what's going to happen, at least now I know I'll be having hopefully 5 fights within 1 year and 6 months.
Okay, that's you're going to be pretty active.
Yeah,
then, right?
It's a busy contract. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel like the COVID stuff kind of like held you back in a way because when the COVID hit,
Yeah.
you got really inactive, right? Couldn't get any fights.
No.
Because once you couldn't go down to Asia, right? And then it was kind of a bit difficult for you with the One Championship. So, do you feel like people in Europe or the UK is better for them to join a European organization other than like an Asian organization such as One Championship?
No, definitely not, because like with One Championship, it is a huge organisation and it's a great opportunity. Yeah. I think just for me, it didn't work out.
Okay.
As you know, like when I fought the first time One Championship, it was like a short notice, 5-day, 6-day fight, and unfortunately I lost that fight. And then from there, after that fight, I actually got a contract with them of 6 fights. So then COVID happened, and then that contract didn't go ahead. And then from there, obviously COVID ended, and we just gradually started getting some more like shows coming up in One Championship. And then eventually I got to fight again on One Championship, but then I lost on a decision. So I think for me, it just didn't work out. And it was just one of them things, it just happens, I guess it's life. Sometimes, things are meant to be and sometimes they're not. But like I said, I'm with a good organisation now. One of the European leading organisations. It's a huge banner, and I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be good.
Yeah, I think the Cage Warriors move was a good move. Yeah. It's local. They've got a lot of shows going on. So you're going to be competing in the middleweight division now, right?
Yeah.
So you were previously a welterweight.
I was.
What made you want to make the move to middleweight?
So like when I competed on One, I actually fought a middleweight. So initially that fight was meant to be welterweight, which in the weight categories for One Championship is lightweight. But UK would have been welterweight. So initially that was the weight, 77 kg. And then unfortunately, when they were matchmaking me, there were a couple of opponents offered which we accepted, and then they never pulled through. And then it became a point where they offered me a fight which was at middleweight. And then when I fought on One at middleweight, I actually felt a bit more comfortable, and I actually thought, you know what, maybe this is my weight category. Where with the welterweight I had to do quite a drastic weight cut, and with middleweight it felt pretty comfortable, the weight cut, it wasn't too drastic. So from there I just thought, you know what, I'm going to stick to middleweight now. I think this is my weight category.
Yeah, you're looking a lot bigger. I was just saying to you in person.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen him in person, he's a lot bigger in person.
Yeah.
Don't get fooled by the camera pictures. He's a lot bigger in person. So do you feel like, because in middleweight now you're more hydrated, you probably have better performances. Whereas when you're cutting weight down to a weight class, you tend to be more dehydrated, right? Do you feel that like these performances are going to be a lot better for you now?
I think so, because like I says, obviously I always initially thought I'm a welterweight fighter anyways, but then it's been a really inactive period for myself. So then obviously when I went on to middleweight, that's the moment I thought, actually maybe this is the right weight category for me. I felt pretty comfortable in that fight. I felt strong, and even my opponent after the fight was saying you were pretty strong. And then we tried middleweight again in when I fought on Combat Challenge recently, and again I felt pretty strong, pretty big. So yeah, it's just, I think this is it. This is going to be the weight category for me. It's just more easier, and the weight cut's not too drastic. It is a bit of work still, but at least now I can kind of do a bit more comfortably and managed.
Let's talk about that. So your last 2 fights, you've obviously won.
Yeah.
But then Tapology, for some reason, they've not counted the fights. So what's going on there? Because I've had a lot of people have a problem with Tapology, but I don't know why they haven't made your record, them last 2 fights, official.
Yeah, so with Tapology, it's just been a pain, to be honest with you. So my first fight that they actually, I think it was like a couple of years ago, I had a last minute opponent. Now that opponent was offered by the actual matchmaker, the promoter of that particular show, and it was offered to my coach at that time, and he got offered 3 opponents, 2 of which wasn't the best of records. Obviously they were last minute opponents, so the records were like 24 hours notice. The records wasn't the best, and then the opponent that they offered me was kind of similar to myself, because I was 3-1 and he was 0-3-0, but he had quite a big background in bare knuckle. So initially we thought, yeah, maybe that's a fight for us that we can take, and we took it. And then for some reason Tapology didn't accept that fight, because it was quite a short fight. I think it only lasted 6-7 seconds, 8 seconds. But again, it's one of them things that wasn't in my control. And then recently when I fought on Combat Challenge, I was really surprised about this one. So I fought against someone again who was offered to my coach. His record was, I think, 4 wins and 7 losses in MMA. He's previously fought on Bellator twice. So initially this fight that was offered to me, I was at the record of 3-1 again, because obviously Tapology didn't count the previous fight. So this fight, 3-2 now. I was 3-2 now, sorry, because of the one championship fight. Yeah, so this fight was offered, and it made sense. 3-2 versus someone who's 4-7, someone who's lost twice on one championship, and then on the other party, they've lost twice on Bellator. It made sense for us to have that fight. The fight didn't last long. I think it lasted under, I think around 25 seconds, 27 seconds, something like that. And it's just shocking, because I went through a full hard training camp for this fight. I knew who my opponent was. I specifically trained for this opponent, and literally what I did in that fight was my game plan. We drilled knees, we worked everything, and for that just to be taken away like that was really, really bad, and I wasn't really happy about that. And it was tough to take, because I felt it was very unfair the way Tapology dealt with that. I don't think they should have done that, and it was very unfair. But it is what it is. It came to a point where I said to my manager, I think, the way things are going, it's not going well for myself in regards to fighting on local shows, because sometimes I don't get the look that I need. Either it's going to be a pullout, or it's going to be a match that they're going to offer me, and when we accept on it, we think it makes sense. It's not making sense to Tapology for some reason. So I told my manager at that point, I said, look, you know what, if I am to fight again, I'm going to fight on a big show. I'm not going to fight on these small regional shows anymore. I've decided I'm not going to ever fight on regional shows anymore. And they offered me a contract with Cage Warriors, and I've just took that, and hopefully now I won't have that headache that I have with Tapology, so I can move on. So it is what it is. It is annoying, because initially I should be right now 5-2, but on Sherdog I'm 5-2, but on Tapology I'm 3-2. But again, to me it's just numbers. It don't really matter. Now I've got a new vision, I've got a new goal, and I can just focus on that and hopefully prove it all wrong. Yeah,
I found that a bit weird, because even in boxing, how many fights do you have with guys with losing records, all official?
Yeah.
For some reason, MMA, it's a bit funny. I don't understand.
It's mad, because like I says, the opponents that have been offered to me, we've thought it's been fine. Like I said, the first fight that Tapology didn't recognise, he was within 24 hours notice, and what am I supposed to do? and it wasn't. It was kind of similar record, but it made sense. The fight. He had quite an extensive record in, like I said, bare knuckle, etc., and boxing, and so that kind of made sense. And then again with the fight that I got offered with Ashley Griffiths, that made sense because again he's fought in Bellator, etc. But it's shocking, and there are a lot of people that I spoke to, even my coaches, and as you know, AVT as well. AVT, we're a renowned gym, we're a big gym. The coaches are very experienced, and they disagreed with what happened. And like I said, we just move on, we carry on and go.
We're here now. We're in Sweatbox Fitness Studio up in Dewsbury. How is it? What made you come here then? Like Sweatbox and obviously AVT as well. What? The move to AVT I know about already, right? Because you were in SPG Bradford, then you moved over to AVT when Mark closed his gym. What made you come here now, Sweatbox?
So initially when I was at AVT previously, a couple of years ago, this was David Starr was one of the coaches at AVT. He was a striking coach.
Okay.
And I just liked the way David teaches. I felt like as if I had that kind of connection with him when I used to do pad work, etc. I kind of liked the way he teaches. And then David decided to obviously go and set his own gym up and create his own academy. And then that's the reason why I decided to go for Sweatbox as well. Obviously, I'm still AVT, but I thought, I want to stick to David as striking coach. And I thought, right, okay, I'll come over that Sweatbox and go under the guidance of David on my striking. So that's the reason why I came over, because, like I said previously, I'd known him from AVT, and then I decided to follow him for the striking side of it at Sweatbox.
So how long have you been working with David for?
So actually, quite a while, to be honest with you. I did have a bit of a break when I fought in Bradford, but on the one championship fight in Thailand, David was one of the coaches that actually helped me out with my striking there. And then we just had a little bit of a break when I fought in Bradford. And then now I'm back again with him after the 4 months training that I've had in fire service.
So how's he helped your game in a way? Like, how do you feel like your striking is before you trained with him and now that you've trained? Do you feel like it's much better?
Yeah, 100%. Like David's striking levels of coaching is amazing. He's really good. He points out a lot of things. And with myself, is like I'm trying to work more on throwing more kicks, but also like kind of work on the side of like throwing more combos, be a bit more busy, be a bit more striking, and David is kind of focusing on that. So like with myself, I feel as if I am a strong striker, but sometimes I'm not revealing all the arsenal in my fights. And I think with David now, we're drilling and working on it and sparring. It's kind of like helping my game evolve much more. And again, David, is the striking coach of UFC fighter Mark Diakese. He's got quite a lot of fighters under his banner that are really at a good level. So yeah, he's a good coach. He knows what he's doing, and I'm happy to be under him.
Yeah, I mean, I saw you training with Mark Diakese and Scott Askham. So how is it training with these kind of guys, like that level? Because obviously, like I said, Mark Diakese is in the UFC.
Yeah.
How is it for you training with these type of guys?
With Mark, it was like we did
because you're a lot bigger than him, right?
Yeah, definitely. But again,
so it helps in it with working with him for the speed and things like that. So how's it working with him?
Yeah, definitely. Like obviously, I am much bigger than Mark, but it was just good to spar with someone at his level. Like he's had I think over 10 fights in UFC, so he's got so much experience behind him, and just to kind of get that sparring session to have with Mark was a bonus for me. So it was good to learn from him, take some advice, etc. And it was good. It was a good sparring session, and it was really good to even speak to him after, and just get some advice off him, and see what I did right, what I did wrong. And yeah, like I said, it's good to. I think sometimes in the whole sparring game, it's good to spar with people who are much better than you and who are much higher level, because they're the people that you need to gain the knowledge from to become better and to move forward. And I think just to spar with someone who's in the UFC, it's really good to just learn some tips from them.
So moving from that now, so you're training here, you're training at AVT. When are we gonna see you fight? What date you hoping to fight? Anyways, what?
Yeah, there's no potential. There's no date set at the moment, but potentially, definitely after Ramadan. And I'm thinking possibly it'll be. I'm hoping it's either May, June, or July. But yeah, around that period, I'm hoping we should be having my first fight under Cage Warriors.
Okay, so not too long away, right?
No, definitely not. Like I said, I've still got a lot of work to do to like
Yeah.
reduce weight, get into shape, etc. But I'm working towards that. Yeah, definitely.
All right. Speaking about, we just spoke about Ramadan. I know this is recorded before Ramadan, but it'll probably be released during Ramadan. So
Okay, yeah.
I want you to explain to the people, how do you train in Ramadan? What's your advice for people that how do you train, and then what's your advice to people that want to train in Ramadan?
I think for myself in Ramadan, it's going to be all about just technically getting better. So a lot of drills and just working on my technical game much more. Sparring wise, depending on what times it is, I think it won't be safe for me to spar, but maybe light sparring if it's before iftar, maybe try getting a sparring session in there, but really nice light technical kind of work. And for me, it's just my focus in Ramadan is all about eating the right food, but I know sometimes that's difficult as well.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna aim and try, balance it, but also like focus on just my technical game and just keep in shape still. Keep staying active, but work on the technicalities of obviously my striking and my all-round game, and just focus on that in Ramadan. And then hopefully once Ramadan's over, I can get into hopefully a fight camp.
What advice would you give to the average owner that wants to train in Ramadan? Since you're a professional athlete, how would you advise someone? Let's just say myself, I want to train in Ramadan. How would you advise me to train Ramadan? After iftari, before iftari?
Like with Ramadan, obviously our main focus is to focus on Ramadan and to focus on our religion. But like I said, with training wise, I think it's all about how your body feels. Obviously, be safe, because you have to be hydrated and you have to make sure you feel pretty comfortable. Which obviously we won't be drinking any water from Seri to Iftar, so it'll be pretty difficult.
Not even water.
Yeah, not even water. Not even water. But yeah, it's gonna be pretty tough on that side. But I think it's more about just be easy with your training, be safe. The way I would train personally is aiming. If you do try getting a hard session, do try pushing yourself. Try doing it maybe 1 hour before Iftar, maybe 1 hour and a half. Just have that little push, and then obviously Iftar comes across. And then with Seri as well, I think obviously, and if you can do something a little bit before you close Seri, and then obviously afterwards you can kind of just have an easy session. So just kind of balance it, but just take it easy. Don't go too wild, I would say.
Okay, yeah, that's some sound advice. I find crazy. Bilal Muhammad, he done training camps in Ramadan, and then fought straight after Ramadan.
Wow, that's yeah.
At the UFC level,
he's
fought like tough guy. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah, but that's like I said, everyone's different.
Everyone's different. That's
everyone's
crazy,
different.
Yeah, he's probably the only Muslim fighter I know that does that.
Yeah.
Even Khabib or Islam, they take time off during Ramadan.
Yeah,
he's the only guy.
I
find that crazy.
You have your own purpose in Ramadan, don't you? And you have your own focus in Ramadan.
Yeah.
And I think, like, obviously, there'll be some people that would probably.
Shoaib.
Yeah.
Shoaib Yusuf won the IMAFs. And he trained during Ramadan.
Yeah. That's what I mean. So
yeah.
There will be certain people that would do it and go for it, but obviously you have to just be safe. And I think with Ramadan, is like, even for myself, in Ramadan is all about focusing on myself. And obviously, like I said, main priority is just to kind of bet yourself in that month and focus on religion, and then obviously the other stuff you can kind of like work on.
Yeah, because I find that crazy, because I've asked like so many different fighters. Everyone's got their own.
Agenda.
Especially, there's no one foolproof plan, right? Everyone's got. You gotta customize it. Towards yourself. So yeah, that's some good advice. Speaking on obviously one championship, your fights. Cage Warriors now as an organization. You go fight deal, right? They don't normally do a fight deal. They do like 3 fights or whatever, right? How is it for you to sign to Cage Warriors now? Because Cage Warriors is a big organization, like especially it's probably the biggest organization in Europe. So how is it for you to sign with them and to compete for them?
Huge. It's a big opportunity. Like I said, it's on UFC Fight Pass as well. But for me, I think my main focus is to kind of like, now it's a fresh start. I think obviously I didn't have a good run in one championship, and I feel as if still in one championship I could have, but it's just the timing and the way things worked out for myself in one championship that didn't obviously fall in place. So for me now is, one championship it could have and has been done, and I'm past that stage. now it's all about now focusing in Cage Warriors and hopefully just start fresh again and just aim to, you know, be prepared and be ready and hopefully get some results. I think with one championship, it was very like, I wasn't prepared as much. Obviously, like my last fight, I was prepared and won, but again, it was just after a 2-year break as well. So it was just like I fought against an opponent that's much more busy than me, and I could see that in the fight. And I think as if, you know, if I had that busy period in COVID, I think then it would have been much better for me to, you know, compete at one championship. But like I said, I'm past that stage now, and I'm at Cage Warriors, and I think now, with the contract they give me, it shows it's going to be an active contract, and hopefully I'm going to get much more fights and I'll be a bit more active, and I can just focus on fight camps and just have one vision of just getting them wins now.
You know how you said you have to do it's 5 fights in 1 year and 6 months?
Yeah.
Do you have to complete the full contract for you to get renewed, or is it just like it just automatically? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, so it's just a 5-fight fixed deal of 18 months.
Okay.
So yeah, 5 fights. As long, you know, I think the main thing is, you know, it's a good contract to have, and it shows that they've got a vision of keeping me active. So, and like it says, you know, like, you know, there'll be shows in Manchester, there's a show in Newcastle, there'll be shows all over UK where, you know, I feel as if I have got a good fan base as well, so hopefully we can bring that crowd there. But yeah, like it says, it's a good active contract. I need that. You see, like when I was at one championship, it just wasn't I had no vision. I had to keep asking, when am I going to be fine? When am I going to be fine? When am I going to be fine? And it was just that same question, and it just kind of got a bit boring. So now at least I know back of my head, like I've got 5 fights, something's coming up soon. I will be getting a date very soon, and it kind of gives you that motivation to kind of prepare and be focused. Where when I was in the period of one championship, it was just I didn't know what was going on. The communication wasn't very clear, and it was kind of like, right, you've got to fight now. And I only had maybe 7 or 8 weeks to prepare, and you know, I kind of want to just stay active and have a vision of right, you know what, I know now I'm going to be having 5 fights. So now my mindset's at that stage where, right, just prepare, keep preparing, because it's going to come. So my mindset now is focused, right, a fight will be coming, where before it was is a fight coming, is it not? And then sometimes it'll demotivate you, you'll just be up and down. I don't want to go through that period anymore.
So, talking about, you said you got a fan base around here.
Yeah.
So you're obviously from Yorkshire. We're in Dewsbury right now. So how is it having that kind of fan base? Because I feel like, you know, the Yorkshireers, they get a lot of support from people local. How is it feeling? How does it feel having local support? As even said before, you got a lot of sponsors for a fighter.
Yeah.
That's not that famous. You got a lot of sponsors and a lot of support. How does it feel having that support?
I think it's all about, you know, we're a small community, and if you break it down slowly, if you break it all down, I am really here, I'm representing this community of Dewsbury, of Heckmondwike, of Batley. You know, I'm representing this Kirklees area, where then obviously we've got another side, which is Bradford, and then we've got Leeds and etc. And as you can see, this is a very small community, and I think probably I'm the only fighter in MMA as a professional in this area, if you think of it. And I think that's why I think I get a lot of support from the community, because I'm representing them on stages, on big stages or small stages, but I'm kind of representing this community here, and just going out there and hopefully aiming to get some wins and put performances on. That's the aim. But I think it's all about just being, you know, a good role model in this community, you know, focusing on yourself and representing. And I think I'm hoping everyone thinks I'm actually quite a chilled out person. First of all, you know, I represent in a good way, and I promote fights in a good way, and I kind of show a good character towards fighting and also out there as well. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Do you feel like that's important? Because nowadays we're seeing in the MMA community a lot of trash talk, a lot of personas, as you may say. We had the incident with Colby Compton, Leon Edwards, mocking, taking it too far. Do you feel like nowadays the trash talk's gone too far? Everything's just for social media?
Yeah, it does. I think it works for certain people, but for myself, it's not my kind of personality. I'm not saying I'm perfect, like I said. You know, I'm trying to build my own character, but I think, you know, for me, it's just I try being a good person and try my best to be right with people, and you know, I don't want to promote something that I know one day my kids won't want to watch, you know, or I won't want my kids to see me, you know, they grow up and they see me like, you know, oh, my dad used to do this and he do that, and, you know, he used to talk like this, but I don't want to do that. I kind of want to promote positivity, and for me, like, mixed martial arts, for me, it's more like building my character, building me as a person, and try promoting out there goodness, and try promoting the right way of, you know, being a human being and being a fighter. But then certain people would prefer just, you know, trash talk and talk bad about other people and etc. That's not my personality. I don't really want to do that.
Yeah, I think it just works on certain people. Like McGregor, he's naturally that type of person, like where he trash talks or he's witty. But then you got people like Colby Compton where they're trying too much and it doesn't work. Like, you got to be yourself, I feel like. Yeah. When you be yourself and you're unique, I feel like that's where you excel in MMA, or like you 100%. Get the promotion that you deserve. So
yeah, definitely. Like, you look at Leon Edwards, for example. Like, when I watch Leon Edwards, like, says he's a UFC champion, but then look at his personality. He's not probably the loudest, you know, he doesn't say much, but again, he's got a very calm demeanour, and I've always found him really respectful and a nice person, and he promotes it in a good way. Say, for example, Khabib, you know, these are people that have, like, promoted it in the correct way, and I think that's what it's all about. But then again, for certain people, and a lot of people out there, fans, they prefer sometimes watching people who are trash talking, and they find them exciting, and like I say, if you can back it up, then fair enough, go for it.
Alright, so talking about you were talking about Khabib and Leon being good examples. What do you think of Khabib? Like, everyone wants him to come back, but he turned down 40 million, I think.
Yeah.
He turned down 40 million just to stay retired, and he's telling people, like, leave me alone, like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like,
he's a man of his word, isn't he? He's kind of like followed what's more important to him, and it shows money isn't important to him. So that's a good thing, I think, because, you know, like, nowadays, you know, some people sell their souls for money. You know what I mean? So yeah, for Khabib, I think, you know, like he says, he's made a promise and he's sticking to that, and you have to respect that, definitely.
Do you feel like Islam now? He beat Volkanovski.
Yeah.
We might see him fight. I don't know. They haven't announced an opponent for him now. But who do you think he'll fight next? Islam. Who do you see him fighting next?
I don't know. It's a tough one, isn't it? It's like, you know, you had Volkanovski, and then, you know, you had Oliveira.
You got Oliveira fighting that Armand guy.
Yeah. So it's a tough one. I don't know to answer. No.
I feel like he's cleaning. He's starting to clean out the division. So
yeah, he is. It's a tough one. Maybe go way up or something. I don't know.
Fight Leon.
Yeah.
Islam and Leon would be fun. That would be a fun fight.
That would be, yeah. But nah, it's like I said, it's one of the things that I don't know, to be honest with you. No, I don't.
What do you think of the UFC 300 card? Like, what do you make of it? Do you feel like it's not lived up to what we expected it to, or do you feel like we're being too greedy?
You know what? You're going to laugh at this. I don't even know what the card is.
You don't know what the card is?
I don't know. No. Go on, tell me, what is it? Who's in there?
Main event is Alex Pereira versus Jamal Hill.
Okay.
So Jamal Hill's coming back. Remember he vacated his belt.
Yeah.
So they're the main event, and then you got Charles Oliveira versus Aman Sarukian.
Yeah.
I think that's his name. Weili Zhang for defending her title. I can't remember the full card from the top of my head.
Well, with the like, for example, we've got, you mentioned Pereira.
Yeah.
I love Pereira. Funny enough, I didn't even know he's fighting Jamal Hill. You can see I've been a little bit away from social media, but yeah, Pereira's just a beast, and, you know, like, I'm a supporter. You know, I sent David just recently a video of Pereira striking. Like, David, get me like that, because that's a machine there. You know, the way he strikes.
Yeah.
And like I said, he's pretty tall as well. So yeah, no, Pereira, I'm a fan of his.
Think he beats Jamal Hill?
It's a tough one. That
Jamal Hill hits hard.
Yeah, that is tough. Yeah, that's a tough fight, but it's exciting. It's a very good fight. But that fight is just it's a tough one. That definitely.
Yeah. So the rest of the card, I'll tell you now. I've got it here on my phone. So we've got Justin Gaethje and Max Holloway. What do you think of that one?
Justin Gaethje, Max Holloway. I do like Max, but I think Justin's gonna take. I think
Justin hits a bit too hard. He's a bit bigger, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Max Holloway has never been dropped. And he's fought Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier. He's fought all the hard hitters.
Yeah, but then just look at the
But
weights.
you never know.
Yeah. This is. I think Justin's quite a strong guy, and I think. Yeah, I don't think Max has got that one. Yeah, even though I do like the way Max
fights. It's a decision. I don't know if Max gets finished, so he can take a good shot.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm going for second round, Gaethje.
Second round.
Yeah.
All right, that's interesting. Obviously, the Charles Oliveira versus Aman Saruki. Do you know Aman is? Aman's the Armenian guy. He fought Islam on short notice. Went decision with him.
Sounds familiar, but
you got Jiri Prokatsa.
Oh yeah.
He's fighting Alexander Rakic.
Rakic's a good fighter as well. So
yeah, he's got very good.
I'll probably go for Rakic on that one as well.
Yeah. You think he beats Jiri?
I think so. Yeah.
Jiri's got a weird style, right? It's kill or be killed for him.
Yeah, Rakic. I'm gonna go for him. Yeah, because I've seen Rakic and I think he's a good fighter. Yeah, I would go for him. Yeah.
Okay. That's a lot of the card. You got Figueiredo versus Cody Garbrandt. You know, Davison Figueiredo. He's moved up now to bantamweight.
Yeah,
so he's fighting Cody.
Yeah,
you think he beats Cody?
Yeah, I would say so. I would.
I want Cody to win. I like Cody Garbrandt.
Cody's a killer, but yeah, I'll go on the other side for now.
Yeah. Okay, that's interesting. That's.
I'll probably got all them predictions wrong as well.
Don't listen to him. If you're betting, don't listen to him. You lose money.
That's it, man.
What do you think of? Okay, so let's make it spicy up a bit more. So I done a top 5 list of Pakistani fighters who I think will make the UFC, right?
Yeah.
So I picked Shoaib Yusuf.
Yeah.
Faisal Malik.
Yeah.
Muhammad Shazli. I don't know if you heard of him.
He's
from Birmingham. He's from Birmingham. Haider Khan. He's from up your side. I think Manchester. And then the last one I picked was Ismail Khan from Pakistan, Cax Fight Club.
Yeah.
And then I put honorable mention Shazib Rind because he's been smashing people, and I think once he transitions to MMA, he's going to be a problem with his striking. Yeah. What do you think of that list? Do you feel like, because everyone gave me different opinions, right? I missed a few names out, but what do you think of that list?
Nah, well, you know, with myself, I'd rather not make any comments on that, just because for me, I think Shoaib Yusuf's the one that shines for me at the moment.
I agree with
because
that. I think no one argues with that one.
No, I think Shoaib for me is he's done enough to kind of prove that. And then again, there's some good names there, but I think for me, Shoaib Yusuf's the one that's actually proven it and is gone to that point where, you know, he's kind of beating guys that, you know, are on that level. And I think ideally I would put a vote against go for Shoaib Yusuf to be in UFC. I would actually go for him.
Be the first one?
Yeah.
I could see that.
I think he's very close to it. I think probably
1-2 more fights.
Depending on what his contract is, I think he's very close to it. And the others, like I said,
put him on a Contender Series, man.
Need to. But the other guys that you mentioned, you know, is some good names.
They're all very good fighters.
Yeah, good names. But I feel as if you kind of for that level, you need to prove it. And I think, and I think some of them names you've mentioned, they've had a loss recently, etc.
Yeah.
I know. So there's a couple of fights there that have just lost recently as well. So
it's a tough list because I was like,
it's a good list.
I can't put amateurs on there.
Yeah.
And then the pros, it's a bit tricky. Like Shoaib's got the most stacked, where he's fought legitimate top tier competition. Yeah. So it's a difficult one, but I hope all of them make it. To be honest with you, that's my philosophy. The amateurs, I like seeing people from my community, because when I first started watching the sport, there was hardly anyone. There was only who was there. You had Shah Hussain, you had Umar Bulututkiani, you had Bashir Ahmed started in one. They were the 3 guys really that started it off, and then guys like yourself came in, and then all the other guys, right? So do you feel like we're gonna see because not one Pakistani fighter has made the UFC. Like a fighter Pakistanis, British Pakistanis like yourself, and Pakistanis from back. No one's made the UFC yet.
Yeah.
So why do you feel like that is? Like, I've always thought about it. I'm surprised not one's made it yet, because the Afghan fighters, one's made it, Indian, Pakistani, Bengalis are still gotta. Do you feel like we're just focused on money and business?
Possibly, but no, I think it's more towards like I think it's for like Pakistani MMA. I think it's growing now. It's come to a stage where there's a lot of like amateur fighters that are really really good. Same again with the professional side, but it's much bigger. Where when I joined, it was like I think in my period it was like Umar Kiani, Shah Hussain, and these were guys that I would see in the Pakistani scene. There were a couple other fighters as well, and yeah, they were quite. It was a bit more like a slow market for the Pakistani side there. In fact, I think when I started, there wasn't really many Pakistani fighters.
No, was it?
I remember Ahmed Mushtaba was, Alumi was, there was myself.
Oh yeah, Alumi, Ahmed.
That was my kind of.
That was your thing.
My little group.
That's what I meant. Shah Hussain and
So our kind of
Shah Hussain, Umar Khani were just before that, and then you lot came. That's how I remember it. Anyways, from
I kind of like bridged in at that period where it was just kind of like coming towards. Umar Kiani, Shah Hussein's kind of like career coming to all. I kind of like fell into that bridge. But
what year was that? Like 2011, 2012?
I started in 2013.
Yeah, you started early.
I think my first amateur, which is not on my record, it was like amateur C-bout where we couldn't hit any face shots on the ground or anything like that. And so I think that was around 2012, that one.
Yeah,
and then I had my first.
How do you feel like the sport's changed now, though?
Oh, huge!
It's changed a lot, right?
Yeah, like then it was different because it was like I remember there were like different shows, but it felt like it was like a cage fight. Yeah, that's what it was kind of like, right? Cage fight, and even though it was martial arts, obviously, it was kind of like more of like a cage.
Everyone's like, he's a back then. Everyone's like, he's a cage fighter.
Yeah. That's
like
what it was,
no one knew what MMA was. They're like, you do UFC.
Yeah.
Like there was more of that back in the day, right?
Yeah, so literally like that. But now I think, like honestly, I think it's gonna grow. And like it says, you like the list that you mentioned there. Some good fighters there, and hopefully they will set the pedestal up there, and there'll be more fighters coming.
Talking about them, let's talk about you now.
Yeah.
Do you still have the goal of making the UFC? No.
I know it's like what it is. It's not that. It's just I think I had my opportunity at one championship. And like that's a huge stage, like number 2 in the world, and massive. And I'm proud of having that opportunity, even though it didn't go for me. It didn't go the right direction, and I do feel I was unlucky because I know I'm not trying to be like disrespectful or anything like that, but I did ask for a rematch against Rahul Raju.
Yeah.
And they weren't giving me that. I sent emails saying just give me that rematch. No offense to Raju because he's such a nice guy and everything, but I just felt as if I needed that opportunity to have a fair fight. And if I got that fair fight, like in my heart, I believe it would have been 100%. I'm telling you now, it would have been a different result.
Do you know what I find funny?
Yeah.
So I was listening to a podcast the other day, and Rampage and Chocodello, or was it Tito, one of them, they were talking about how they can't stop thinking about that one loss.
Yeah.
Do you feel like every fight is that way? Like when you lose to a guy, you feel like, you know what? If I had just, especially like when you feel like you're capable enough.
Yeah.
If I just train a bit more like this, I can win. Like them losses always like.
It's not that. You know what it is? I lost to the better person there. He beat me. Simple as that. And I obviously came in a short notice. I had a crazy drastic weight cut. And I was very inactive on that period as well, so everything were against me then. And then again, it was on a huge stage where, like when I walked in there, I was like a bit of a stage fight. I was like, wow, I'm from an 800 to like a big arena of 15,000. I was on the main card as well, so it was packed. Yeah. So it was a big thing for me to go there. Where then the second time round, I felt pretty comfortable, but yeah, it's something that does bug me sometimes. But you know what it is? It's I've made friendship with Rahul, and he's such a nice guy, and like if it was ever offered again, I would take it. We're
friends, but I still want to kick your ass.
No, I would take it because not in a disrespectful way to him, and I think he knows that because I've got a lot of respect for him.
It's just like a competitive spirit, right?
It's just that competitiveness where I would love to just have that fair match, because you see a lot of people, unfortunately, how they do is like, and it's one of the things where sometimes certain people will say to me, and this is crazy, where certain friends will say, oh yeah, I watched some of your fights, or like colleagues will say, oh, I watched some of your fights. Which fight comes up? The fight that wasn't my best performance. And it bugs me, it bugs me because I feel as if like it's one of them fights where everyone's always going to have that judgment of, so you know, this Pakistani fighter lost against, you know, Rahul Raju, the Indian fighter, and you know, like it's always, and I always see it on a big stage. And for me, it's you know, I kick myself because I appreciate the opportunity that I was given. Obviously, I would never regret that opportunity. But for me, it's like, that wasn't me in there. Now, you put me in there, and I feel as if it'll either be a competitive fight and it'll be more of a fight, or, you know, someone's going to go down, and, you know, that's how it's going to be. And, you know, that's how I feel with that fight. And it does bug me, honestly. It does actually bug me, like, in the sense where sometimes, you know, I scratch my head and I just wish, you know what, if one just gave me that one chance to just have that rematch, oh man, that would have been good. But it is what it is. Like I said, I've got full respect for him. He's such a nice guy, and you know, it's no offense to him. You know, I think he's a great fighter. I just feel as if as a competitor and as someone who's competitive, it would have been nice to just get that opportunity to just have that rematch on a fair level, and it would have been good to see then what would have happened.
Yeah, but I think yeah, that'd be fun.
Don't be promoting this. Rahul Raju versus Furqan Cheema again.
Stop promoting it.
No. It would be good, but I think, yeah, it's one of them things. And, you know, you never know. If it ever does come by in the future, it'd be great. But one championship to give me it, because I did offer it a few times.
Okay, let's get past that. Let's talk about your Cage Warriors there, because you're in the middleweight division.
Yeah.
Tough division. A lot of good fighters. What do you think of the division?
Cage Warriors, like says, I think, like, crazy as it sounds, and probably will sound crazy towards people, but I think it's a much tougher division compared to one championship. I think this Cage Warriors is a big, strong division. Middleweight's not as big compared to the welterweight division, but I feel as if, like, the middleweight it's a small division, but strong fighters,
stacked with talent.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see where I'll fold into that division.
So I'm going to ask you a few lighter questions
Yeah.
before we end it. So let's start off with, are you a texter or a caller? Which one do you prefer?
Probably texter, yeah, I would say so, yeah. Texter, yeah.
Social media or no social media?
So social media for promoting training, but as you probably noticed, when I don't have, like, anything coming up with in regards to sporting activities or anything, then I deactivate for many months until something comes up.
Do you feel like that hinders you in a way? Because the more you market yourself, like, I always have this talk with the other fighters. I feel like the more you market yourself, the more opportunities you get.
Yeah.
So having a very, like, there can be a fighter that's super talented, but if he's got no marketing, no one will notice him. But the fighters that have the big following, and they might not even have as much talent or skills, but they'll get all the opportunities. So do you feel like in this day and age now, we need more of that? Like, would you give that advice to up-and-coming fighters?
Yeah, definitely.
Not yourself, like, everyone's different, right?
Yeah, everyone has a different goal in life,
and,
a different vision. I think with myself, it's like, you know, it's not really that important to me. Like, I feel as if I do get the support that's required. You know, and I'm grateful. I've got good sponsors behind me that support me all the way, and I think sometimes just with social media, there's a lot of times you just need a break from it. And like with me, I think last time I went off for like a good 4 months, and then I've come back in again. This is why you thought I retired, because I totally just went off face of the earth. But I just prefer that, having that time where
you know it is. You went off and then you come back as a firefighter, and I'm I'm like, this guy's saving the world now. He's gone from fighting to saving the world. So how was that transition to firefighting? Like, how do you find the job? Because I find it crazy that you're a firefighter and you're professionally fighting as well. Like, I mean, that's why I call you the brown Stipe Miocic. Stipe Miocic, former heavyweight champion, done the same thing, right? How is it balancing that?
It's good, you know, like, I'm in a career where, you know, physically I can stay active, and I think of it, I've got more time to train now, and I can focus on MMA side of things. But then also, whilst I'm at work, hopefully when we don't get no calls, or, you know, we're on a quiet period, I can have the opportunity to actually train as well. So we have our own gym facilities there, so I can focus on staying in shape and doing activities. And again, the job itself as well is quite demanding. You know, you get jobs where it's pretty physical, so I think that's good, because I'm always going to be on my toes and I'm always going to be on my feet. And then again, you know, I've got the MMA side where, you know, I can have more time to train and focus. So I think it's a good transition. I'm 33 years old now, so I need something where, you know, that adrenaline with the fighting has always been amazing, but now I've got the adrenaline out there saving people and, you know, doing jobs where, you know, I'll be helping the community and getting involved. So I think I need that adrenaline on that side as well. So I know when the fighting career ends, at least I've got something where I can carry on going and focus on. So yeah, I think now I've got a career with the fire service where that adrenaline is always going to be pumping, and he'll always stay. And that's what I
think that's a good move, because a lot of fighters don't plan retirement because you're so used to that adrenaline rush, the crowd and things. So once you get off that, a lot of people that retire fighters or actors or performers, they tend to get depressed because there's no goal in mind. But you've kind of made that now with the.
It's crazy because, you know, like, obviously it's tough sometimes, but like even that period that I had off from fighting, and then I just missed it, you know, like I realised then, you know, like the period that I had off, like the 4 months off whilst I was in training for the fighting service, obviously my focus was there, but you miss it. I miss competing again, and I needed that little break where, you know, I just had to like reflect on a few things, and I thought, you know what, I can't stop yet, I need to keep going. You know, it's too early for me to stop yet. So, you know, like now I think it is tough, you know, like I said, sometimes, you know, they do say it's like a lonely sport, you know, sometimes like it sounds crazy, like obviously I remove social media, get away from all that, but that's just because sometimes I need a break from it. But then once I've had that break, I'm like, oh man, I need to get back into this again, you know, you have that buzz again. So it's crazy, you know, it's one of them kind of things where, you know, sometimes you can have quiet and lonely days where you're not competing and you're not doing anything, and you're like, oh. And then there'll be times where you'll have moments where, you know, when you are competing, you kind of want to be like, right, okay, I want to get back to that quiet life again. So it's mad. And I think, you know, like a lot of fighters do go through that period of, you know, depression and going down, because sometimes like when you fight, you're always going to be a fighter. And I think like with myself, I think because I've done it for so many years, I have my breaks, but then I have that little instinct in me where it's like tickling me all the time, saying, right, look, get back into the gym and start training and start competing again. So yeah, I'm going to make most of it now, definitely.
Okay, so I'm going to ask a few more. So what's one place you like to visit that you haven't visited in the world?
For me, my main aim is obviously Umrah and Hajj, so Saudi Arabia. And that's just because for me, as you know, as a person, I think I need that moment in my life where I can obviously do that. So once I'm past there, then obviously inshallah we can look elsewhere. But yeah, for me, I think that's where my goal is to visit now, and hopefully inshallah it'll happen as well.
I mean, I feel like that was a good one. Like obviously I always ask that question, but next one is, would you rather see the future or go back in time?
You're making me upset again, are you? Go back in time and fight around Raju again. You know what?
But it could change it. You could change it.
Yeah, it could change it.
But you could change your whole thing. You might not be here.
Nah, I'm only joking. So, look,
would you rather see the future?
I'll never change anything in the past, because sometimes, you know, like I've realised with life is, you know, there'll be moments where you'll regret a lot of things. And it is what it is, because sometimes life is planned like that. So, you know, like we believe Allah is the best of all planners. And I think for me, like, I've made so many mistakes and I've done so many errors in the past. But then it's all about changing yourself and trying to make yourself better and focus on the future. Past is past. Go ahead and focus. And I think there's been so many things that I've done in the past where I wish I could change. I swear I could. I wish I could go back and change it. But then sometimes I think, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't, because you know why? These are the things that will probably make me a better person. So, you know, like they say in life, you'll make mistakes and you'll make errors. Learning from them will make you a better person. And I think with myself, I've made so many, and I still do. But inshallah, you know, you have to try like finding a way to learn and overcome it. So yeah, future is the one that you focus on. I think past is past. Focus on the future and try, you know, evolving then.
You didn't answer the question, but
yeah. I'll go for future. Yeah, future.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years? So in the next 5 years now?
Well, I want to see how I get on with Cage Warriors now. See how I perform in Cage Warriors. And I think that itself will kind of give me an indication of where it's all going. So like I said, get these 5 fights out of the way. See how I do in these 5 fights, and I think that would, then if you ask me that question, then I can give you a definite answer. But for now, I think I'm just focused on that direction now.
So yeah, I think we should. Should end it here.
Yeah, sound.
I think it's a it was a good episode. Any last words for the people that are watching?
Yeah, just a big thank you to my sponsors. Like I said, obviously a big shout out to them. Like you mentioned earlier, you know, they're always supporting me. Like I've got sponsors like even when I'm not competing, they support me all the way. So big shout out to Dents. So if you ever want some hair products, contact Dents. You know, they've got amazing hair products and very good business there. And yeah, they've always supported me from day one. They've been helping me so much with like my sponsorships, and even when I'm inactive and I'm not training, they're still supporting me. Big up to EFWU, so Equality Workers for Union. Them guys are so supportive as well. Again, they've been supporting me whilst I've not been fighting. So if you ever have any work issues, give them a shout because they'll be there to support you. We've got my new sponsor that's just come on board, Smile and Dazzle. She helps me with any scars or anything like that, or make me look good. So she's really good, like she does all like the facial treatments, etc. Again, it's a local business, and anything that I require, she's helping me out with that. And then a big shout out to Natural Remedy. So like for your massages, any injuries, them guys are supporting me. So yeah, big shout out to all my sponsors. Big shout out to my manager Carl Messon and HD Fight Management, and big shout out to AVT, everyone at AVT, and also Sweatbox and all the coaches there.
So where can people find you on social media?
It's easy, honestly. You won't find difficulties on that. Just type in my name, Furqan Cheema. So for Instagram, it's Furqan Cheema. For Facebook, I've got a sports page, which is Furqan Cheema, and then I've also got my personal page, which is Furqan Cheema. But obviously, only certain people get accepted on that. And that's the way to find me on social media.
It's good having you on, man. I think he's been on my show the most.
Yeah, man. That's it.
I think it's fourth time now, third or fourth time. So if you want to listen to his story from before, check out the previous episodes. Show him support, show him love. This guy's, dedicate himself to this, and it's a tough sport. So, yeah, man. If you want to follow us at MMA Diagnosis on all social media platforms, and I'm gonna start the audio again as well for the show because I haven't done the audio stuff. So we'll get the audio running as well, Spotify and everything else. So keep watching us, subscribe, support us. The more you support us, the more we grow, the more content we can give you, such as this. So. Yeah, support Furqan, man.
No, definitely.
Nice one, bro.
And
wish you all the best.
I want to say a big shout out to yourself because obviously you've just come all the way from Birmingham.
Yeah.
And you're in Yorkshire. You say you don't like Yorkshire anyway, so you want to go back to Birmingham. But no, I appreciate you just giving me time and coming all the way from there. And like I said, you've always supported me from the moment of get-go when you started. And like I said, I appreciate your time. And like I said, big up to you guys. And like I said, you're evolving, you're moving up. And like I said, you give us fighters a good platform to talk to. So yeah, appreciate your time.
Yeah, just like how Furqan's trying to take over the Cage Warriors Middleweight Division, I'm trying to take over the MMA media game, and I'm going to take over. So yeah,
Inshallah.
Let's end it on there.
Inshallah.
Furqan Cheema, people, check him out. We're out.
Thank you.
Yeah.